So it's not not in my news right now, but I just want to bring it up just to hear your opinion. And I was contemplating.
I feel like you're gonna say what I just realized I forgot to talk about. Go on.
And I was contemplating doing a dick move segment for this too, but I'm not sure if it's so much of a dick move.
Maybe I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead, tell me anyway.
But there are some Game of Thrones meeting going on.
Yeah.
Right? And the writers, it was the writers, right? Or who was it?
It's the writers.
It was the writers, right?
And they had like a little interview where they actually got to talk about
the show,
what
like,
happened
overall, and what happened and all that.
Just let me give you a heads up to any fans that really like Game of Thrones and we're mad about this whole thing. You're about to get really fucking mad about what AJ's
Yeah, if you haven't heard about this already.
They probably have, but yeah, if you haven't, you're about to get really mad.
If you haven't. Or in case you're just kind of just interested in the whole Game of Thrones thing, but never really got into it and all that, looked it up like that. At this interview, first off, they were dodging fans for a long time. They were like hiding and shit.
They even said they would show up to Comic-Con and they didn't do it,
right? Because they were scared. That's why. Anyways, they finally came out of hiding, and they were kind of just talking about stuff and answering questions with random people. One of the things that just kind of came up though was like how it all started.
Yeah, and what's the process? What was your writing process, and how did all this get going? Basically?
And apparently, they didn't have a writing process in the beginning.
Yeah, apparently they were super fucking rookie writers.
Yes,
with good recommendations.
Don't know how.
I don't know, bro. I heard that one of them is rich and one of them is richer, like kind of like born to a higher, high end family and shit.
Right.
Maybe that has something to do with it, but
maybe,
dude, they didn't know what they were doing. They started talking about how like one of them would write a script. Would write half of an episode script and the other one would write the other half.
Yeah.
And then they would swap. And I'm like, yo, that's fucking confusing, bro. Like, that doesn't... Where's the consistency? And, like, I don't know if everyone knows, but most great TV shows have a writing team.
Yeah.
There's a lead writer. Obviously, there's definitely one person that's writing the overall story.
There's usually like a whole director overhead to who has a vision.
Yeah.
And then the writers break it down and add stuff into it.
No, wait. No. Well, yeah, that is true, but there's a director and there's a lead writer and then there's a writing team.
And then there's a team, okay, yeah.
That helps, get into the finer details that maybe you don't have time to get into because you're really busy as the lead writer.
Yeah.
Know? And they didn't know that was a thing.
So I knew that was a thing.
Yeah. AJ and I knew that was a thing.
And neither of us so informed to that.
And we don't even work on movies, and we knew that was a thing. And so apparently season 1 and season 2, they wrote that shit completely by themselves, and they just got lucky.
Yeah, they got lucky. Not only that, but the actual actors themselves started to make up their own character tropes and started to write their characters themselves.
And some of them were reading the books, and they said they were teaching them about their characters.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they said some of the characters were reading the books and teaching them about the characters.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, maybe we'll write that in.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, you guys are supposed to be the ones that know everything about this shit. Like, it's your job.
And then wasn't there a thing, too, where, they made no mention at all that, Cersei and Robert Baratheon, had no, relationship or some shit?
No, what it was is that when they filmed it...
Oh, they filmed it.
They didn't film any scenes with them together.
Yeah.
And they had to have someone tell them, yo, how come these two are not in any scenes together? And they're like, oh, fuck. And they went back and reshot and put that shit in there.
Yeah.
And it worked.
They
got lucky. They got so fucking lucky. And they were saying one of the biggest reasons they think it succeeded was because HBO was pushing it so hard.
I think of all that, and also, I think HBO actually came in and be like, yo, you need to get some writers on this, too.
Yeah, season 2, they stepped in and they told them, you need to have a writing team.
Yeah. Because I think HBO just wanted to push the show in general. But this group wasn't helping it, and so okay, it's actually pretty good. You need to do this now.
Yeah,
and then getting them guides what to do. Man, it sounds like it was
a nightmare,
a nightmare, a train wreck that came out pretty good at the end somehow.
Until the end,
got super lucky.
Until the end.
Oh yeah, they also said too that they wanted to Are you
gonna say what I'm afraid you're gonna say? Where the hell they want to distance themselves from certain fans?
Yeah, they wanted to branch in. They wanted to get the eyes of high-end celebrities. There's people that weren't NFL players,
soccer moms.
Yeah, people that weren't into magic or nerd stuff. They wanted to get away from nerdy topics and stuff like that, like the Dungeons and Dragons type of feel.
Basically, they wanted to separate themselves from the fantasy fan community.
Fantasy, yeah, exactly.
The Lord of the Rings fans, they wanted to separate that shit. And I read into that video. I started thinking about it. That's why it seems like magic has left the world in Game of Thrones. Because in Game of Thrones, the book, magic has not left the world.
Yeah,
there are still giant spiders. There's still sorcerers and shit. But the show makes it feel like when the dragons died, magic left the world. That's not the case. And that's why we all feel that way. That's why it was so realist for the first 2
I just
seasons.
didn't think magic was like an actual thing that was like, you know, like it was a rare thing that's like one person knew, and like it was just kind of a mystery the whole time. That's what I felt like watching the whole series.
Yeah, that's their fault.
And
they engineered that.
And also too, just from watching in the beginning too, because like, you know, just seeing like, you know, just different episodes here and there, I never thought dragons were gonna be an actual thing. And then dragons came out, and I felt like they were not expecting that themselves either.
No.
They're like, oh shit, dragons are a big part of this shit.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, we gotta do dragons now.
Yeah, I felt like they avoided it and used it for fan service and shit like that. Like,
Maybe, yeah. But that's also why we probably don't have like, because wasn't what's her name, the mom, Catherine.
Catherine Stark, yeah.
Yes.
Lady Stoneheart.
Lady Stoneheart is a thing throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's
never comes to fruition in the series.
I agree. I feel like that's because of the magic.
Yeah, because they wanted to avoid that side of it. And I've heard like other things too that exist that just are not a thing in the series, in the TV show.
Like I told you, man, a lot of people wanted giant spiders and golden elephants. And neither of those things
Fucking
fucking
Cersei wanted elephants the whole fucking at the end of the last season.
Apparently that was the writers referencing the fan outcry, and they thought it was funny. And people were like, wow, you're just not going to do it? You're just going to fuck with us? Like, so they thought they were like clever. Like, oh yeah, this will make... Yeah. Like, oh, this will make the fans happy that we make a joke about it. Like, no, give us the fucking golden elephants, fool. Like,
that is funny, man.
Oh, man.
Talk about dick moves, right?
Yeah, they didn't even know it was a dick move. That's the worst part.
Damn.
They didn't even know it was a dick move. They had no clue what they were doing. And it kind of makes me feel better, but it almost makes me sadder at the same time. Like, wow, like...
We liked this. We fell for it.
No, it was always doomed, you know? Like, and the other thing my friend pointed out, because I showed him the same video, he was saying the reason it worked is because the genius of George R.R. Martin's writing. The writing is genius. Like,
damn, like you couldn't fuck up his writing.
You can't fuck it up. Yeah, he was like, it's just too good. Like
wow.
Because you know the things that they kept, the power plays, the battles, like the things they kept were fucking good. You know, like
damn. But so it could have been better if they had everything else.
Could have been better.
Wow, that's interesting.
Let's stop talking about it.
Damn.
All right.
Well, actually, there's another piece of that's kind of connected to that, though, right?
Tell me.
Because they're supposed to write the next trilogy of Star Wars.
Oh, you're right. I didn't think about that news. You're right, AJ.
Yeah.
Tell him, bro.
This?
Tell him.
Yeah. So they're supposed to write that whole next trilogy, right? Is that correct? What I'm saying right there?
They were supposed to have a trilogy of Star Wars for themselves.
Yeah.
We didn't know where it was going to be in the timeline, but they were going to have their own Star Wars trilogy, and that was official according to Disney.
And then after this whole thing happened, all of a sudden they kind of just fired themselves. They kind of quit the project. Did they quit because of what happened with this whole thing, what everyone was saying, or were they forced out based off this?
It's funny you say that because, yeah.
But they're not on that project anymore, so...
Yeah, they've officially been...
they've been
severed. They're severed from that. They're off the schedule.
They're off the schedule.
They're off the schedule. Yeah, they've severed themselves from the project, and just like AJ said, their excuse was they got too busy and they took on.
Yeah, they had an excuse. That's right.
Yeah, they said they took on.
Something.
They said they claim they forgot how busy they were gonna be with Star Wars, and they took on too many jobs to the point where they won't have time to do Star Wars properly. So they walked away.
Okay, yeah.
But as we all know, the timing is too perfect. I feel
so
like,
too.
Dude, I think they told them like, nah, you know what? We're gonna go a different way.
Either someone in the company was like, hey, yeah, all this shit that happened, we didn't know this, and I don't think you guys are right for the dog. Either that happened, or them themselves were like, man, we're getting such a bad backlash from all this right now that maybe we shouldn't fuck up some other series right now.
Yeah, because they're gonna we'll never get hired for anything ever again.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man. And I heard that Iger, the lead of Disney, was
Iger.
watching them very carefully after Game of Thrones, like watching fan like backlashes and shit. I heard that he was very focused on like, can we get away with hiring these guys? You know what I mean? Like, will it work? Like,
yeah.
And maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know.
Maybe that's crazy. Maybe that's why they're avoiding like the crowds for so long. That's why they didn't come to Comic-Con, because they didn't want to cut that tie so soon.
Yeah, because maybe Disney told them not to go. I didn't even think about that
could
until
be a thing too. Yeah.
Until you said it. I never thought about that, but maybe Disney said, you know what? Don't go. We'll pay you. Just don't go to that shit. You're gonna make it worse. And if they would have said the shit that they said on that interview after at Comic-Con, it would have been bad, bro.
Yeah.
People would have thrown tomatoes.
Where was this interview even at? Because it was like a
It
small...
was a tweet interview. It was a Twitter interview.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they were
Oh,
tweeting
wow.
them, and both of them supposedly were on the tweet together,
Oh no! It was some type of little interview. Like it's a little conference room. I know that.
You sure it wasn't a tweet interview? I thought it was a tweet interview.
The reason it came out on Twitter because someone was there actually live tweeting it the whole time.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what was going on.
Okay.
I know that much. So yeah, I don't know exactly where it happened though, but
I gotta do some research.
What's happening, but I guess we'll hopefully get some better writers on this Star Wars at least.
In other news, Game of Thrones had one show canceled, which was the one that was rumored to be called The Long Night, explaining the Night King's background, and now he made the White Walker army. That show got canceled.
I wonder if a lot of that was already explained to the books, and we're just missing it out.
That's true.
But not only that, because I don't know, the whole Night King, that Night Walkers thing, just felt so like
pointless at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, why did we deal with this big threat and then y'all slayed them all quick?
Yeah.
And the one thing I always complain about, bro, the prophecy. Y'all straight up ignored the prophecy. It would have been real easy for them to just say, "Oh, the prophecy's a lie. Someone wrote it. It's a lie." That's all they had to say. You know, like
Cersei wrote the prophecy.
No, I mean, not her, but like explain like in the past that someone saw something and they wrote it and it wasn't never fact. It would have been fine. But the fact that they just ignored the whole Azor Ahai thing and the flaming sword and that someone was going to come to kill the Night King and they just gave it to Arya and that person, and she didn't become the king? Because they said the person who killed the Night King, Azor Ahai, was supposed to become king. And that never fucking got touched again once Arya killed the Night King.
Wow.
And their explanation in the little, the after Game of Thrones shiz, they said, we just didn't feel like this moment was right for Jon Snow. We felt like it was right for Arya. And I'm like, who the fuck are you guys? Like, follow George R. R. Martin's story. Like, who told you guys to do that? Like, why do you feel like your opinion matters? You guys don't have any experience.
Obviously.
That wasn't the moment for Arya, for Jon, they said. Like, okay, let's talk about
it. Maybe just give Arya a different moment. Or I don't know. Anyways.
There's other things they could have done. Dude, I felt like
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we all, like, wanted to happen in some weird way.
Yeah.
And it just went all backwards. And it's like, okay, that's a different way to go about things. Honestly, I don't hate the ending. I just like how ironic it is.
Yeah, I agree. I don't totally hate it, but I'm just like, I remember when it was over, I was like, really? I was like, that's it?
I was just like, wow, they fucking really threw us for a loop again.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I'm okay with that a lot of people are mad is about Bran the Broken. I actually like that shit. I know a lot of people really hate that.
It worked for me.
I was cool with that part. Yeah. I'll tell you the thing I didn't like. The thing that really made me mad was just them ignoring, Azor Ahai.
Yeah.
Like, the prophecy doesn't mean anything. They didn't talk about why it doesn't mean anything. They just said, oh, no, it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't like how, like, Jon Snow didn't get, like, some type of hero ending at the end either.
Nothing, bro.
I feel like he kind of deserved it. I mean, even though he claimed he didn't want it, I feel like that was written into him.
Yeah, no, I think that was written into him. I agree.
Yeah. And, I don't think it was supposed to be like that. Anyways,
this is the last. Wait, all right, we'll talk about on a Game of Thrones video maybe. All right, so
someday we do that, but the series is over. I'm kind of done talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, let's stop.
Until like I learn to read and actually go read the books, which is probably never gonna happen with me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
You think? Okay, that's my other thought actually now. Do you think there's a possibility at like maybe 5, maybe 10 years down the line that they revisit it and actually do it based off the books?
Dude, I would love that. I hope that's what they do one day. The fact that they're making a Lord of the Rings show on Amazon makes me feel like that's a possibility.
Oh yeah, that's right. They are doing that. So yeah, that is the thing they can do.
It could be done. It could be right.
Would you want to see it as movies, like like Harry Potter, or would you want to see it like as TV series?
TV.
You want to do a TV?
Because I feel like there's something that epic won't work with movies, and that's what George R. R. Martin also said. He's like, it's just too little of a time to tell so much story. Like, you need a show where you have an hour each episode to really flesh it out.
Or what if they do like 3 movies per book? That'd be so fucking epic.
Yeah, but will people put up with that though? Like,
if it's good enough. I mean, we have how many Harry Potter movies do we have? Like fucking 12 or something.
It's like 8. But that's 8? A lot. That's a lot.
It's still a lot though, right?
Yeah. That's
how many fucking Marvel movies do we fucking have?
30.
Yeah, right.
You're right, AJ.
And I'm kind of ready to go from the beginning and fucking watch everything again right now.
AJ, you're right, bro. Honestly,
if it's good enough,
you know what I think would be
not gonna mind it.
You know what I think would be best, which is impossible, if they said the first 4 seasons were canon, and then just wrote it again from there. But they can't.
Full Metal Brotherhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Or yeah, like maybe make a series that like briefly in one season covers season 1 through 4, and then fucking season 2 like tells you this is how it was supposed to go after Jon Snow got murdered. You know, like
I think they would have to start from scratch though from the beginning, just because there's so many little things that were probably missing.
And different actors will confuse people. Yeah, so you're right. That's true.